Hi, my name is Roy Sherrod, and my wife Melody and I have put a slide presentation together of our very first trip to Europe that we took in March of 2003. We flew to Zurich and we rented a car and we drove down through the Swiss Alps to Tuscany, and we just thought it was beautiful. All the mountains and the glacial lakes, it was just beautiful and green the whole trip through. Um, this next shot that's coming up here shows a sign that shows the town of Lugano, which is on the other side of the Alps, and Gotthard is the Gotthard Pass, which is a 35-mile long tunnel that goes right through, shoots through the heart of the Alps, and you think you're never going to see daylight again. The tunnel comes out to the town of Lugano, which is on the Swiss border. This is a shot of a rest stop by Lake Schwyz. We thought it was kind of funny because they didn't have a toilet. You had to stand over a hole in the floor, and you had to be pretty limber, I would think. This is a Swiss little restaurant that we stopped at for a beer on our way. We thought it was kind of picturesque and quaint. Here we are at the Swiss-Italian border. The interesting thing about this is that when you're going into Italy, they just wave you right straight through, but on the way back, going into Switzerland, you have to have a special decal on your windshield that costs about 50 euros. The town of Papiano is north of Empoli on the map there. This is the Villa Papiano Americano, originally owned by the Medici family out of Florence, and then was given to the Torrigiani family, who were vassals of theirs. This is another view of their home. The home was originally constructed in 1520. It's a beautiful home. Has a bell tower and a chapel. Beautiful hand-painted murals and marble floors inside. We got to know the family. They invited us inside. It's a back view of the villa. Enormous property. Olive gardens and olive trees and vineyards and everything. It was just beautiful. It had a big swimming pool, but we didn't go swimming because it was still pretty chilly. It was March. The property is they had converted the stables into 4 guest houses that were completely modern on the inside. It was pretty neat. This is the chapel that I spoke about before, and this is a shot of the little town of Lamperecchio. We step out of our guest apartment in the stable, and this was the view down the hill. Papiano is a small village that the villa was just outside of, and this is just a street scene there. Every town has its own Catholic church. This is the Catholic Church of Papiano. Not very far from Papiano and Empoli is the town of Vinci, that's where Leonardo da Vinci was born and raised, and this is the first view coming from Papiano to Vinci. This shot here is of the primary house, or the elementary school that Leonardo had attended as a child. And this is my wife and son Robert standing outside the home of Leonardo da Vinci where he was born and raised. The bell tower over the Da Vinci Museum with a view of the valley below. The Da Vinci Museum, this is the entrance steps coming up to it. It's really a really good museum. I'd recommend anyone going to it. A lot of recreations of Da Vinci's inventions. He was truly a Renaissance man. A lot of his artwork too. This is a reproduction of his famous Cavallo equine statue, which people consider one of the best horse statues of all times. We left from there, we went to Pisa. This is the Piazza del Miracolo, which means the Plaza of Miracles. And interesting thing about Pisa is that they think it was constructed over an Etruscan temple site. This is the baptistry of San Giovanni, or St. John. The whole grounds were enclosed by this enclosure wall. Really interesting. It was built during Roman times, I guess. This is the San Rimieri Cathedral, also known as the Duomo. Really beautiful inside. And this is a reproduction of the Doors of Paradise that the originals are hanging on the baptistry in Florence. They were named that by Michelangelo. This is the famous statue of the she-wolf suckling Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. You'll see those statues pretty much anywhere. Leaning Tower of Pisa was originally started construction in 1173, and it took them 200 years to build this, and it's 5 degrees off the vertical. We left out of Pisa, and we're heading to the town of Lucca through the Tuscan hills, and this is a couple shots looking back at Pisa from the hills. Interesting thing, we saw a World War II machine gun bunker that still had some German graffiti in it. This is the medieval town of Lucca, and it has a medieval wall that's still intact. It was built in the 16th and 17th century to defend against a war with Florence. And this is a view from the top of the wall, which has been converted into a park and a bike path. It's really beautiful. The street scenes of Lucca, narrow streets, you see those in a lot of the different Italian towns that you go to. In the distance there, you'll see the bell tower of San Martin in the town of Lucca. This is the Piazza of San Michele in Lucca. And interesting thing is that if you happen to be there, they have a really cool antique fair. Another view of the piazza. And we really thank you for taking the tour with us on our first European tour, and we invite you to come see us at our website, retiringhippietravellers.com.